शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So today onwards we start looking at Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the most auspicious and popular Puranas. So basically, to all of those who have joined today for the first time, this is an ongoing session wherein we were looking at all the Puranas, and finally now we have completed the Puranas. The last Puranam is Srimad Bhagavata Puranam. So let us start now. So now before we start with Srimad Bhagavatam, we have certain dhyana shlokas which are usually chanted. Now these dhyana shlokas, usually now today what we are going to do is we'll be starting with the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya. Now all of you can hear me, is it okay, clear? Okay. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam is a part of the Padma Purana. Now, few of us here, we had learnt the Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmya shlokas. I don't know if anyone is here, but I think we had learned it. Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam shlokas we had learned. So, today what we look at is the meaning of Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam. We first start with Mahatmyam, then we'll continue with the Purana. So, now Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam is a part of Padma Purana. Okay, so it is not actually a part of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a part of Padma Purana. Mahatmyam meaning the glory or the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam. So first today we start with the Dhyana Shlokas at this chant of Srimad Bhagavatam, then we'll start looking at the meanings. Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. Namo Namah Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Namah Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Now these dhyana shlokas can vary as per tradition. You can chant in any order that you want. Different people, they chant in different ways. There's no problem. Jnana Vairagya Sampurnan Haribhakti Parayanan Purvacharyanaham Vande Sampradaya Pravartakan Shradismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Prahlada Parashara Pundarika Vyasambarish Shuka Shaunaka Bhishmadalbhyan Muktangada रुक्माङ्गदार्जुनवसिष्ठविभीषणादीन् पुण्यानिमान् परमभागवतान् स्मरामि. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. काषाय दण्डकरकादिविभूषिताङ्ग वैराग्यभागजलदे करुणानिधे त्वं संसारकूपपतितस्य समाकुलस्य बोधेन्द्रदेव मम देहि करावलम्बम्. हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे. कलये सुन्दराकारं सदैकप्रियदर्शनम् अज्ञाननाशकं देवं सद्गुरुं मुरलीधरम्. So these are all for different shlokas, you can say, for different gurus. Now the actual Bhagavata Dhyana Shlokam starts. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र सर्गो मृषा नाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं. श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात्. निगमकल्पतरोर् sorry निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमतितीर्षतां तमोन्दं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परम् ॐ श्रीहरये नमः सर्वत्र गोविन्दनाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द नारायण अखिलगुरो भगवन्नमस्ते. Okay, now this is the Dhyana Shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, before we talk about the Mahatmya, now why till date, of course, all Puranas are important, but why till date Srimad Bhagavatam is very popular, or you can say why there are so many Bhagavata Saptahams that are conducted, or everyone, you say Bhagavatam, you say any Purana, first thing that comes to our mind is Srimad Bhagavatam. So, what is the reason for all this? Anyone knows? Can anyone guess? Many of you might be aware of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Or you might be chanting, you would have heard stories. Why? Talks about Bhakti Yoga. Okay, what else? More relevant for Kali Yuga. What else? Stories of Krishna. Okay. Sanjeev ji. Okay. Ah, Bhagavata Gunam, Bhagavata Gunam. Lord talks about the Lord and so on. Sanjeev ji. Okay. Because that Purna Avataram is Lord Krishna, that's the reason we have to do. Okay, what else? Gitu ji. Correct. So maybe that is the reason. Okay. Now all this is one part. So these are all different answers. All answers are correct. Sorry, Indra ji. Want to say something? No. Okay. The essence of the Vedas. So that's there in all Puranas. Okay. So now Srimad Bhagavatam, if you see, like all of you said, all answers are correct. There is nothing wrong. We have varied answers for this. But the only reason why Srimad Bhagavatam became very popular is now in general, if you see all Puranas, if you talk about, they are all encyclopedic in nature. But the speciality of Srimad Bhagavatam is it is also encyclopedic. If you see now, when all of you are saying Krishna Avataram, it talks about the Leelas of Krishna. If you have ever gone through Srimad Bhagavatam book, Bhagavatam is divided into 12 skandhas. Krishna Avatara stories start from the 10th skandha only. So it's not that whole and soul Bhagavatam talks only about Krishna. No doubt it glorifies about Krishna, but it starts only from the 10th skandha, or it revolves only around 10th skandham, Purva Bhagam and Uttara Bhagam. First 9 skandhas talk about other topics, 11th is Moksha skandham, 12th is the future about Kali Yugam and so on. So only one skandha as such talks about Krishna Leela. But that itself is more than enough for Srimad Bhagavatam to attain glory. Secondly, Like Gituji said, towards the end of Dwapara Yugam, Krishna said that when Uddhava, towards the end of Dwapara Yugam, towards the end of Krishna Avatara, Uddhava, the childhood friend of Krishna, he cries out to Krishna, saying that now, O Lord, if you leave this world and go. Now, already, if you see, now we have four yugas: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. So it is a cycle. After Kali Yuga, again, Satya Yuga will repeat. Satya Yuga, everything was good. People didn't know what is evil or what is bad, what is negative, and so on. Treta Yuga, slowly the emergence, you can say, of evil beings started. That's when we had characters like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and so on. But still, we had good people like Rama, Vibhishana. So you can say like middle category. Both good and bad started existing. People came to know what is bad, what is evil, what is negative, and so on. Dwapar Yuga, evilness started coming more. Evil spread about more. That's when, before the time or right from the time Krishna was born, evil people started attacking Kamsa and so. Towards the Kali Yuga, what happened is negativity increased. You take our own example. Now, please note one thing. People say Kali Yuga means everything is negative, everything is depressing, everything is wrong. If it was so, today we will not be discussing about Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? So, it's not that everything was only bad. We should not feel so. Amongst the four yugas, in Kali Yuga, negativity also. Now, that doesn't mean that in Treta Yuga things were not so, or in Dwapara Yuga things were not so. In every yuga and every time we have good things and bad things. The only difference is in Kali Yugam, people get exposed to negativity more or evil things more. That doesn't mean that good things don't exist. Good and bad are there in all the yugas except for Satya Yuga. Now in Satya Yuga also it was there, but good, bad, everything exists always. In Satya Yuga, people looked or people absorbed good things more. In Kali Yuga, people are absorbing evil things. That's the reason why you take the example of our everyday lives. Distractions come in or some breaking news comes in, we are used to that. We get absorbed in that easily, more than good things, right? How many of us today read the Gita, read the Bhagavatam, read the Puranas? It's not that we are not interested. Even if we are interested, there are thousands of distractions that come our way. This is Kali Yuga Dharma. This is what is happening in Kali Yuga. 10 people around me are not doing that. So I also don't feel like doing that. Whereas in Satya Yuga, 10 people around me were reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Maybe one element was doing something else. So obviously I was also used to that. Right? So this is the only difference that is happening. Why I'm telling you this is we should not feel that Kali Yuga is only bad, Satya Yuga is only good. Good, bad is there always, but the proportion differs. In Kali Yuga, very much easily we get distracted. You take your own personal example, that's it. So this was a problem. So towards Dwapara Yuga again, this all this had started. That's why we had so many elements started from Kamsa and so on. So that's when Uddhava he cries out to Krishna saying that now what will people do? Dwapara Yuga is going to come to an end. Kali Yuga is going to start. So how will goodness be there in the society? What will people do and so on? That's when the Lord says. Uddhava tries to stop Krishna, saying that you don't end your avatara and so on. But the Lord says, like for every avatara, there is a time to come. There is a time to establish dharma. My job is done. Now I have to go back to Vaikuntha. I have other things to do. So he says, but then he blesses Uddhava. He says that now you proceed to Badrikashrama, that is today's Badrinatha, wherein it is believed that Uddhava lives there till date. You go there, you start meditating upon me. I will immerse myself into Srimad Bhagavata Purana. So let me immerse myself, let me merge with Srimad Bhagavatam. I will be present in Kali Yuga in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So whoever, that's the reason we worship our Srimad Bhagavatam books, all our books, Ramayana, Mahabharatam, Gita and so on. They are not just mere books, we worship them. We have to do puja to these books also. So this is a reason. So we believe that the Lord himself has merged with the books. That's how we celebrate the Lord. So this is how the story goes on. So that is how someone said that the Lord Himself is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the reason the Purana has become very auspicious. Now, the, this is how the Purana existed. Now, the most popular version that we know about Srimad Bhagavatam is Parikshit was told Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, and that's how till date we are reading about the Bhagavatam and so on. Now, the Saptaham Paddhati that is there to read Bhagavatam in 7 days and to listen to the stories of the Lord in 7 days, this was started by Parikshit. That doesn't mean that Bhagavatam did not exist before Parikshit. No, Bhagavatam was always there. It was only that the method of telling stories, where people started relating to Srimad Bhagavatam more after the story of Parikshit. Because even though Parikshit went on the wrong path, Ultimately, when he listened to the stories of the Lord in about 7 days, he spent the last days of his life listening to the glories of the Lord. Like this, each of us, we don't have to wait till the last days of our life. Whenever we get an opportunity, we can, if you have, that's the reason why so many of us we attend so many saptahams or so, or why we should even organize a saptaham. This is the essence. At least once in a lifetime, once in a year, or once in few years, or once when there is some important occasion in our house, if we are able to organize or attend the Saptaham, at least for those 7 days or so, we are immersed in the bhakti of the Lord. We are reading the shlokas, we are listening to the stories and so on, at least for that limited time. So that's the reason this method became popular. Now, a third reason. Now, Vyasa. Vyasa is a compiler of all Puranas. I am not saying the, you can say author, but he is a compiler because Vyasa has not written the Puranas. Valmiki has not written the Ramayana. Why I'm not using this word return? Return, now you will say, no, Valmiki has written with his hands. That return is different. We say the Rachayita, meaning the composer. Now, Valmiki was very much present during the time of Ramayana. So, whatever he saw, the same thing he has written. So, like, it becomes like report writing. Same in the case of Vyasa. Now, the meaning of the word Vyasa itself, meaning to compile. That's the reason there are different Vyasas. Current Vyasa is a Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, the 28th Vyasa. In every Dwapara Yugam, we have a Vyasa. So, Vyasa is not a proper noun. It is a name, it's a title which is given to someone who compiles information. So, Puranas were roughly, you can say, thrown in about a lakh and crore verses. That's when Vyasacharya compiled them into about 18 Mahapuranas, 18 Upapuranas, and so on. So, that's how we have the division of Puranas. Now, like this, he had compiled all the Puranas, Matsya Purana, Brahmanda, Brahma Vaivarta, this, that, everything. But still, he could not attain mental peace. He was still feeling, no, I have done so much, like this for all of us also. Oh, in the case of all of us, we don't do anything, still we feel I've done everything and still I'm not at peace. In the case of Vyasa, he did everything. Still, he felt no, he was not attaining mental peace. Said, I've divided the four Vedas, I've compiled them, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. Still no mental peace. Then I've written so many a bit of commentaries, I've compiled the Puranas, still no mental peace. Now what to do, what to do, what to do. He prays to the Lord. At that time, the Lord says, you write about my Leelas. There is no Purana till date. Now, it's not that we don't have the stories of the Lord or avatars of the Lord in other Puranas. Matsya, Kurma, Linga, everything talks about the Lord, but whole and soul talking about Krishna Avataram and about all avatars of the Lord is highlighted in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Lord himself, Lord Vishnu tells Vyasa that you write a Purana, you compose, you compile a Purana which majorly talks about my Leelas, that to the Krishna Avatara stories, and also about how the world started, how the universe started, highlight more about my avatars, talk about the dharmams that are there, talk about what will happen in Kali Yuga. Such a Purana you have not composed till date, which will become very useful for people in Kali Yuga also. So that's the reason you are not getting mental peace. You please do that, you'll be happy. Not only you will be happy, the future generations, whoever reads Bhagavatam, they will all be happy. And it will spread among the masses very easily. Vyasacharya did this, and that's the reason how he compiled Bhagavatam. So this is a story how Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled. There are different reasons for this, different stories, different contexts. The Purana is compiled. Could everyone follow till here? Yes? Okay. Correct. Okay. Now, another important question. If the Lord Himself had told that to talk about my stories, then why did He start with all the first nine skandhas? Why did that talk with the universe, this avataram, dynasty of kings, Surya Vamsha, Soma Vamsha, and so on? Was there any reason for that? This is a question. For that, a very simple reason. If we have to, now I'll tell you a simple. Someone says learn Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't know even the Dhyana Shlokam, you cannot start with Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the reason why today, though we are just looking at the meanings, I chanted the Dhyana Shlokas. It's a very simple thing. Without going to the pre-primary classes, the child cannot attend the secondary classes. Right? Similarly, without reading, without knowing about the world, without knowing about the stories of kings on Bhuloka, without knowing what has happened before, we cannot directly jump to Krishna Avatar. For that, there is a process that is there. Without that, we cannot attain. That is the reason why, even before starting with Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to learn and know about Mahatmyam, the glory or the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahatmyam, Bhagavata Mahatmyam. Otherwise, reading Bhagavatam is useless. That's the reason at the beginning of every Bhagavata Saptaham, you have the Mahatmyam that is read, its meanings that are discussed. A very simple logic for that. Someone tells you to do something. First question what we ask, why? What will I get after doing this? What is the importance of this? We ask, right? You go to the market, buy something. What do you see? You look at the backside, how to use. You look at the manual, right? What will I get? What are the benefits of this? Or give you another example. You go to these banks also. They'll give you a credit card. They'll give you this card, that card. They'll tell you the benefits, right? And maybe we are not interested, but still we listen to them, right? We get to know all about the benefits. Before you choose something, before you buy something, before you opt for something, we definitely look at all the pros and cons. Without that, we don't. Correct? Why do we do this? Because without reason, we don't feel like buying something. Only if a product is useful, only if the first question that we ask is what I get to know, what I get from this. Same is applicable for Srimad Bhagavatam also. So the same logic is there. That is why it is said so. Is without knowing the importance of things, we don't. We are not able to. Now, someone tells Srimad Bhagavatam. You tell a small child or so, the child will ask, "What is Srimad Bhagavatam?" We should be able to tell that, right? So Vyasacharya, for that matter, talks about the Mahatmya. Now, if you see, now again, there is another question which is asked. The stories, those who are aware a bit about Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya, we will know. Uh, just 1 minute. Hold on. Just 1 second. Yeah. I told you all to just hold on for a minute. Okay, let's continue. So, yeah, so I think now all of you can hear me, right? Yes, yes, tell Sanjeev. Hmm, correct. Yes, all six. Yeah. So now you again a next question that comes up is all six adhyayams when we sorry all these six chapters. Now Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam, if you see, it is a part of Padma Purana. So it is a part of Padma Purana, but if you look at those stories, they're quite different. It's not related as such to Srimad Bhagavatam. Why so? Again, a question, right? If Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Lord Krishna, why do the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya stories don't talk about the Lord? Again, a simple question. Right? So these stories try to signify first is the importance of bhakti. So when we delve deep into that, I'll tell you, of course. So these stories as such, if you see, they talk about the significance of bhakti, and through different episodes in the form of stories they try to teach us. So Srimad Bhagavatam, again, the importance of the Mahatmyam of Srimad Bhagavatam is through different stories, or in Puranas only in general, you can consider through the method of stories they try to tell us. So now you tell a child, don't lie, always speak the truth. Child hears from one ear, from the other ear it goes on. The same thing if it is explained with the help of an example in the form of a story, then the child remembers it. Oh, I had read that in the story the boy lied or the boy didn't behave well, so he had to face something. He got a punishment for that. So, like if I do, then like that boy, also have to suffer. So, with stories or with examples, not only for children, even for elders also, it becomes easy to understand, right? That's the reason why human beings we look at others and we learn, right? A simple example, all 50 of us why you are coming here when I told you that no, okay, from today onwards we look at Srimad Bhagavatam. So you know, okay, someone is going to tell, there are going to be fellow people along with me who will come and listen, so I'll also go and listen. Same thing, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam books at our houses. We also have Google. If you wish, you can learn. All of us can read, right? I don't have to talk about Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't have to listen to me. If you want, we have the book, we have technology, everything is there. You can read. We don't do that. Why? Because we need someone. People are there, someone is there to tell, someone is there to listen along with me. I feel this. So we always look at others. We need live examples, only then we can relate. Yeah. So this is a very simple thing that is there. Which so for human beings, we look at others and learn. So that is this is one, you can say, an important point to note about Srimad Bhagavatam. That is in the form of stories, things are being told, so it becomes very, very easy to listen. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is divided into about 18,000 verses, 12 skandhas, 18,000 shlokas. Now, except for skanda 5. All the other skandas are in the part of Padyam. Padyam is normal Anushtup Chandaha. Some are four-line verses, of course. So the tune or the meter does not keep changing. Except for Skanda 5. Skanda 5 is in the form of Gadyam. Gadyam is in the form, is a prose. So you have to read. If you have gone through the text, you will know the shlokas are in the form of long sentences, not in the form of normal verses that we usually read. Okay. So this is a form of Skanda 5. Now why Skanda 5 is in the form of Gadyam? It seems that Vyasacharya himself highlights in a place that I didn't know how to compile Skanda 5 in the form of verses. The Mahima or the glory of Skanda 5 is that great, so I put it in the form of Gadyam only. People will find it difficult to learn, but there is no option because the glory of Skanda 5 cannot be fit in the form of Gadyam shlokas also, so I put it in the form of Padyam, sorry, so I put it in the form of Gadyam. Yeah. So this is the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us start with the Mahatmyam or the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam. So this is from Padma Purana. Padma Purana has lot of Mahatmyas. You also have the Gita Mahatmyam that is there. Like these different Mahatmyas are there. Now Padma Purana Uttarakhandam. Uttarakhandam talks about Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam. Now it is divided into about 6 chapters in all. Chapter number 1 is a conversation of Narada and Bhakti. Now, who is Bhakti? Bhakti is nothing but devotion. Bhakti is nothing but devotion. Now, Bhakti in the living form. Living form. Now, Bhakti Devi, in those times, today what we say devotion, Bhakti or so on, we try to show, right? Now, what is our Bhakti? Someone will sing songs. Someone will sing songs, someone will maybe chant shloka, someone will offer prayers. So method is different, right? But all of us we show bhakti. Or it need not be now bhakti when we say it is a very broad concept. Now why I'm talking more about bhakti, or you can feel that initially Srimad Bhagavatam is a bit unrelated. It is a bit unrelated, but still we must know because Srimad Bhagavatam is in the form of bhakti, or you can say the essence is the base of Srimad Bhagavatam, or you can say the roots are all in bhakti. Now, many of us we feel that bhakti or devotion is something which is limited to religion or spirituality alone, bhakti towards the Lord, or bhakti to you can say one's own guru and so on. But it is not so. Anything that we do that needs bhakti. That's the reason we use some words or phrases. Work devotedly, work religiously. Why do we say this? Any reason for this? That means to put in our full efforts. When we say work devotedly, work religiously, it doesn't mean you have to go and maybe offer flowers or do sing songs, chant shlokas, also do puja and so on. That means put in your 100%. You don't focus on anything else. Put in your 100%. Essence of chapter 12 of the Gita, Bhakti Yoga also talks about the same concept. Krishna explains the same to Arjuna. It's not that in one day you will be able to learn everything, but the essence of Bhakti Yoga is Abhyasa Yoga. You keep on practicing, you keep my mind is not getting focused, it's fine. That is human nature, right? One day it will not happen, 2 days it will not happen, for a year it might not happen. But every day you do this, one fine day it is definitely going to happen. Don't give up. This is nothing but abhyasa yogena tato. Finally you will reach ma michhaptam dhananjaya. Finally you will reach me, O Dhananjaya, O Arjuna. So this is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? This is the essence of the Gita, the same thing which Krishna also highlights in the Gita. So bhakti is a concept which is for everything that we know, it is limited. Or for everything that we do, bhakti is the essence or the root. Now here, if you see now when we say bhakti is in the living form. Why living form? Now what is the story of this? We'll delve into that. Now it seems that Bhakti originally she was there in now Bhakti is in the living form, and I think my voice is getting cut, right? Can all of you hear me, or it is getting cut? It's getting cut, right? I'm not. Just one second. I'll just try with a new connection because I'm able to speak, but like little I think voice is getting. One, hold on. Okay, so I have tried through another device. I hope it should be okay because there's some lag. I don't know why. Okay, so when we see all this Bhakti, Narada, he comes down to Bhulokam and he feels that Bhakti Devi, she was in a, Bhakti is in a living form. So Bhakti Devi is a bit sad. So from here, that's how Srimad Bhagavatam starts. So now here what happened is, initially if you see the starting of Srimad Bhagavatam is Sachidananda Rupaya Vishwopatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. So wherein if you see the Mahatmya itself starts wherein the glory of Sri Krishna is sung, who's all truth, all consciousness, Satya, everything is being told. The origin of this world, end of this world, maintenance, and so on. So here now next mod starts. So this is how Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam starts. Now like all other Puranas, Romaharshana is the name of a sage who tells the essence or the story of all Puranas to sages who are present in a forest called Naimisharanya. So similarly here Srimad Bhagavatam is a conversation between Suta Shaunaka. Srimad Bhagavatam is also a conversation between Parikshit also. The in 7 days the story that was told to Parikshit. So as I told you now, that doesn't mean that Srimad Bhagavatam has emerged only after the character Parikshit who's there. It was there right from before. Now Shaunaka is the name of the sage and Shaunaka's guru was Suta. So bowing down to Suta, Shaunaka starts telling the nectar-like stories or Amritam of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here he says that once it so happened, so initially they had a conversation between themselves that the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is so great. You should definitely tell us about the stories and so on. So like this, the beauty or the nectar of Lord Krishna, his childhood stories, everything is being told by Shuka here. Shuka and Shaunaka, both of them, they have a conversation. Now, finally, what happened is Shaunaka here, he asks a question to Suta. He says that how come Devarishi Narada, he started roaming about here and there? Is there any specific reason for that? Why did he not stay in a particular place? Now for this, few of us, we had seen the story how Brahma had cursed Narada. This reference, this story comes in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. How Brahma had cursed Narada, that's how he said that you will take a birth on Prithvi, you will lose your status in Swargaloka, you'll take a birth on Prithvi and roam about in the worlds. But Narada asked for, you can say, he asked for another boon in return. He says, no doubt, I will accept your curse, but I need a justification. What is that? Or you can say, I need a boon in return. Brahma says, what is that? I've cursed you. How can you ask a boon in return? So he says that wherever I'm born, whatever I do, I should never lose bhakti for the Lord. That's the reason why Narada keeps on chanting Narayana Nama wherever he goes. So Narada, he is born to a Dasi on earth, and what happened is while he was roaming about here and there, he comes to a place that is Badrikashramam. Badrikashramam, wherein he saw four sages who were there. And they were nothing but the four Kumaras, the four Sanat Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana, and so on, the four brothers, who are again the Manasa Putras of Brahma. So ultimately, they were the brothers of Narada. Narada is also the brother, son, Manasa Putra of Brahma. So uh, now Narada was feeling why Brahma's curse? Why did Brahma curse? So that story comes in Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Brahma and Narada once had an argument amongst themselves. So little Brahma, like Narada, literally was trying to, you can say, teach Brahma or so. Little he was trying to show his knowledge. So Brahma, what he was telling was correct, but Brahma literally said, "I am your father. How can you come and teach me?" So a little like you can say a bit of ego also. So that's how he ended up cursing. Of course, there are different interpretations for this. But why all this curse takes place also, for that there is a Leela which is there for, because later further Srimad Bhagavatam things like that have to take place. That's the reason why this the curse was actually given. So Narada was feeling a bit sad. He was there in Badrikashrama. He was sitting there. That's when the four Sanat Kumaras they go and meet Narada and say, "What happened? It seems that you have lost everything. You have pulled a long face, and as if someone was lost everything. You are sitting. What happened?" So Narada said that I got a curse from Brahma, no doubt, but I came down to Bhuloka as told by Brahma, and I felt that on Prithvi in Bharata Desha, I can visit important places like Aham tu Prithivim yato nyatva sarvottamamiti pushkaram cha prayagam cha kashim godavarim tatha. I came down to Bharatavarsha, I came down to Jambu Dvipa, Bharatavarsha, thinking that I can visit places of pilgrimage like Pushkara, which is in today's Rajasthan, Kashi, Prayagam, Godavari, Setu Bandaram, Rameshwaram, Kurukshetra, Srirangam, and so on. I went about all these places. But still, in spite of visiting all these places, I am not contented, I am not satisfied at all. My mind is not at all happy. Why? Because Kali Yuga has already started. Now, all this incident happens in Kali Yuga. So he said, uh, Kali Yuga has already started. So wherever I go, even though I visit all these places, there is no sign of purity, no shaucham, no bhakti. People are not at all interested. Everything becomes money minded. So now I don't feel like visiting all these places. Like these are all said to be great pilgrimage sites, but there is no purity, there is no bhakti at all in all these places. Same thing what we are witnessing today. Of course, you can get those positive vibrations or that, but we know in today's times also all these pilgrimage places have become commercial centers, right? So the money minded, this, that, and that's how even for seeing the Lord to pay in lakhs or so, you pay this ticket, that ticket, and so on. So somewhere bhakti has vanished more, it has become like a commercial center, right? So thinking of all this, Narada feels very bad. He says, no, Kali Yuga, there is under the name of bhakti, people do anything. Uh, People try to cheat others, fellow human beings are cheated, and everyone is not doing things properly, they're not performing their rights. Then there's no one who is doing things in the right manner as told by the scriptures. Everyone is behaving as they want. So under the name of bhakti, just as in today's times also we see, right? Under the name of bhakti, I'll walk on fire. Under the name of bhakti, I'll pay in crores, this and that people do. You cannot just do anything to show your bhakti. So, but people are doing this. The same complaint which today we are seeing, Narada also had. And while doing all this, finally, what happened is Narada said, I reached the bank of Yamuna, which is the birthplace of Krishna. I reached there, and there he said that all this, I visited all places here and there. I saw everything was evil. But finally, when I reached Yamuna Tatam, I felt something very different. I felt very happy. And there, why I felt happy was I saw a young woman there. Her name was Bhakti Devi. And near her, there were two old men who were lying down unconscious. Two old men. And the woman who was there, she was taking care of those two old men who were sitting there. Now, all this story, Narada is telling the four Sanat Kumaras. And the old lady, she was crying, looking at those two old men who were there. And she didn't know what to do with them. She was crying, she was wailing loudly, and so on. And that's when the girl who was there, I went near her, asked the woman what happened, and the she told me that, oh, Sage, you please ensure that my worries go away, this and that, and so on. So Narada immediately he said that I asked the lady, who are you? Who are these two men? And so on. So that's when, and there were a few girls also who were standing around Bhakti Devi. Now the woman was none other than Bhakti Devi herself. So the girl, the woman who was there, she said, well, Aham Bhaktiriti Khyata imo me tanayo matao. Verse number 45, uh, Padma Puranam Bhagavata Mahatmyam, chapter 1, Uttarakhand. So she says, I am Bhakti, and these two sons are nothing but Jnana and Vairagya. Jnana and Vairagya. Vairagya is dispassion. These two men, they are lying unconscious, and these girls who are standing around me, they are rivers, Ganga, and so on. They have all come in living form for doing service to me, for offering bhakti to me. But I am wailing aloud because Jnana and Vairagya, these are actually my sons, but they have vanished from Kali Yuga. That's the reason knowledge is there, but people are not ready. That's why we find so many Ajnanis and ignorant people around. Vairagyam. Now, please note, Vairagyam doesn't mean to give up everything and live a life of a sannyasi. I'll give you an example, an everyday example of Vairagyam. I have 10 clothes in the cupboard, 10 new clothes I'm talking about. 100 clothes in the cupboard, out of that, maybe 10 they're new clothes, or maybe I've worn it just once. But still, I go to the market and buy 10 more and come. This is Vairagya. This is, you can say, passion. Right? I have, still, I have to go and buy. This is the problem where Vairagya doesn't exist. To know where to stop, we don't know. Right? I have a car, I have a house, I need four more. I have one house for me, I have another house for my kids, I have a third house for investment purpose. Still, I want to buy something more. But we fail to realize that ultimately at the end of our lives, this is going to create problems, property issues, and so on for everything. So this is where Vairagyam has vanished. Jnanam, obviously, it's not there. That's the reason we find so many people arguing without knowing the true nature and so on, true knowledge. So Jnana and Vairagya, these two things are falling. They're fallen down unconscious in Kali Yuga. So Bhakti Devi is crying out. They're actually my sons. And they're fallen down because in Kali Yuga, no one is respecting them, no one is taking care of them. That's the reason they're fallen ill, and I am crying. So now what happened is Bhakti Devi says, "You hear my whole story now." And she tells her story to Narada. She says, Utpanna Dravide Saham Vriddhim Karnatake Gata Kvachit Kvachin Maharashtre Gurjare Jiranatam Gata. She says, I was born in Dravida Desha. Dravida Desha, that is the southern states that we have today. Tamil Nadu, you can consider. Vriddhim Karnatake Gata. Vriddhim doesn't mean Vriddhavastha, doesn't mean old age. Vriddhim is puberty. That is, from a young girl, I turned into a woman or a lady. So in Karnataka, that's when you had Tyagaraja, Purandara Dasa, and so on. Bhakti was emerging in them in Karnataka. Sangeetam, that is there. Today also we say Karnataka Sangeetam, that is when times of Bhakti were there. Or all the Alvars, Nayanmars, and so on that we have in Dravida Desha, that was when Bhakti was born in Dravida, Tamil Nadu, states like that. Slowly it proceeded to Karnataka. We had the emergence of Tyagaraja, Purandara Dasa, and so many others who contributed to Karnataka Bhakti. Cochin Maharashtra. Then I came to Maharashtra when we had the Bhakti movement. Abhangs, Jnanadev, Tukaram, Namdev, and so on. So then I slowly went to Maharashtra. Gurjare Jiranatam Gata, Gurjare state of Gujarat. That's where she is now today, on the Tata of Yamuna, Dwarka, and so on. Again, now Yamuna, of course, it flows still ahead. So today she is in Yamuna, but she says that Jiranatam Gata, that's I attained, or you can say a ripe age or an old age in Gujarat. That's why today also, if you go to Gujarat or in general in Uttara Bharatam, if you see, Bhakti is more as compared to South India. That doesn't mean that southern people, also people living in Dravida Desha, they don't have Bhakti. But if you see, for them, maybe people living in Uttara Bharatam also, they don't go much into rituals, they don't know much. But when you have to sing some kirtan or any bhakti, that they immerse themselves fully, right? They dance, enjoy, they sing, enjoy, and so. People in southern India, if you see, we are more into mantras, rituals. But same thing if someone says no, dance, enjoy, or you can say put your hands up and maybe chant the names, we are a bit conscious. What will people think, right? So nothing is wrong. It's not that Uttaramadam, they should know about, of, of course, we should know about our rituals also and do things in the right manner. Similarly, in southern India, and if you have to show bhakti, why not dance, enjoy, why not sing, enjoy? So there should be a blend of both. That is that. So depending on the place that we live, of course, it has got an influence. No doubt in today's times things have changed, right? Wherever you go. First of all, bhakti is there, that itself is a big question mark. But this is how you see in today's times also, if you are seeing this in Bharata Desha, that has got a significance in the Mahatmya, Bhagavata Mahatmya, that is mentioned in Padma Purana. So it is Bhakti herself says, उत्पन्ना द्रविडे साहं वृत्तिं कर्णाटके गता क्वचिन् क्वचिन् महाराष्ट्रे गुर्जरे जीर्णतां तथा जीर्णतां गता. So that's how I attained old age in Gujarat, and that's how I lived there. But now, still continuing, I've grown weak and so on because of my sons also, Jnana and Vairagya. Finally, I've reached Vrindavana. And now that I've reached Vrindavana, I feel a bit refreshed. And I feel that people who come to Vrindavana, worship Lord Krishna also, they will also feel happy a bit. That's how I feel. And My both sons also slowly they are recovering. Of course, they are tired, but slowly they are also recovering. So, somewhat you can consider yes, similar to Garba. And she feels a bit bad here because it happens that once towards the end of her life, her sons have attained old age. So Bhakti Devi she says that I feel that my sons when I am now when a mother is alive, she can't see her sons old, right? Of course, there is an age difference that is there. So obviously the mother will be older than her sons. But here Bhakti Devi she tells Narada who says this is the other way around. I am looking younger than my sons. What more agony to a mother like me? So many untimely deaths also happen, right? Many parents lose their children young. So what kind of agony or you can say dukkha which a parent faces when they lose one? In fact in Ramarajam, if you go through the Pattabhishekam of Rama, the Phalashruti it is written, or I think in Samkshepa Ramayana also it's written that those who listen to the stories of Ramayana or in Ramarajam, there were no untimely deaths. No mother or no father had to see the death of their son or daughter. It is untimely deaths. So like this, there are different Palashrutis that are mentioned. So Bhakti Devi cries out here. She says, why I have to face this? Why should I see my sons who are old like this who are lying in front of me and I have to nurse them when actually they have to take care of me? That is the age that is there. So Narada, she says that Narada, he listens to all the story and he says that you don't have to give up like this. Obviously, things are going to come. This is the dharma of Kali Yuga. This is how things are going to be in Kali Yuga. There is going to be a lot of negativity, but chanting the names of the Lord, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. If you surrender to the feet of Lord Sri Hari, He will take care and He will bring you happiness. And this Kshanamatrena Tajñatva Vyakyamuche Munishwaraha. Narada, he just analyzed whatever Bhakti Devi told and he spoke as follows. She tells Bhakti Devi, he tells Bhakti Devi that now is the terrible age of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, there will be 10 people around you who might not follow the right path. Therefore, we should not get distracted. You should be on the wrong path. You should be on the right path. Things are going to be difficult. Now, this, whatever Narada is telling Bhakti, is ultimately a life lesson to all of us also. So, the same thing here, Narada is also telling Bhakti Devi, and which we can also apply. So here, practicing or doing evil things also has become very normal for people. Maybe stealing, lying, and so on. All these is quite normal. So here, now I'm not going much into detail, but Narada talks about a lot of negative things, bad luck, troubling people, causing harm, killing people, stealing this and that. All this is going to be very common in Kali Yuga. So Bhakti tells that So Bhakti for this questions, saying that how can a person live here then in Kali Yuga if the place is so dangerous, if this place has got so much of negativity, so many evil things that are there, how can people live here? How can I live here? And how will Lord Sri Hari come and bless me? So this is a question. But she says that, oh sage, you tell me a right way. I have belief in you. You tell me how will my sons recover? What will happen to them further? And how will I also find solace? That's when Narada says that because you have asked me, I will tell you everything in detail. Yadi prashtat swaya bale prematash kuru. You have asked me affectionately, I'll give you an answer. Sarvam vakshyami te bhadre kashmalam te gamishyati. And he says that King Parikshit, one second. King Parikshit also towards the end of his life, the last few days of his life, what he did was he also surrendered to the feet of the Lord and he merely started chanting the names of Lord Krishna. That's how he attained. When he chanted the names of Lord Krishna, he got the grace of even Brahma and Shiva. Now, here you have now Srimad Bhagavatam, you note that in many places it glorifies Lord Krishna and mentions that uh, Lord Brahma and Shiva also worship Krishna. So, for this obvious reason, Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies Lord Krishna. So, obviously, it's going to place Krishna or Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu at the top. So, Parikshit, Narada tells the story of Parikshit to Bhakti and says that that Parikshit also towards he had 7 days in his hand. At that time, he dedicated, surrendered to the feet of the Lord, listened to the stories, chanted the names of the Lord, and so on. So, similarly, you also do the same thing. And this has to be done by all the people in this world. Whoever does this, they will also be happy. And like Parikshit, they will also attain Vaikuntha. So, this is what Narada he explains to uh, Bhakti Devi. He says, I also had come to Bhulokam to visit all different pilgrimage places like Pushkara, Prayaga, Srirangam, Rameshwaram, and so on. But there also bhakti is not left at all. People are not coming there to worship the Lord. For all other things, there's a lot of evils that are there. So no one gets is contented. They don't feel happy even in all these pilgrimage places. So therefore, one who has a good when should one visit these places? Then only when one has a good control over one's mind. So like this, he keeps on telling, and how will this control come once you develop bhakti to Lord Vishnu? So this is the advice which Narada gives Bhakti Devi, and with this, Bhakti Devi little she becomes happy, and she says that through divine grace you have come here, I have met you, and that is my good luck. And she says, Surarshe tvam hi dhanyosi madbhagyena samagataha sadhunam darshanam loke sarvasiddhikaram param. So with divine grace or just Guru's grace that you have come here, just the mere sight of Gurus like you or divine souls and sages like you makes a person like me who's complaining was to face a lot in life, they also attain solace, they also attain bhakti. So, or you can say they also attain peace of mind. So, to this with this Bhakti Ruvacha is the last of chapter 1 of Padma Purana, Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmya. And here, if you see, this is when bhakti little attains solace. So towards the end of chapter 1, we see that Narada he gives a sense of hope. He builds a bit of trust, faith, and hope in the minds of bhakti, and further the story continues. What happens next, we'll see next time. If anyone wants to ask or say something, you stay back, others can leave. Next Saturday again we meet same 9 to 10.